Hey, it's Travis, Green Valley Anglers. If you're wondering if it's even worth launching right now, you're in the right place. Your water can be locked down to the mid to upper 30s, and the bass have one priority: survival. They're not roaming, they're not chasing, they're parked on the most stable, deep structure the lake has to offer. Today, we're talking winter's true home for the big girls: deep, stable structure. Standing timber, brush piles, rock piles, and channel drops that hold consistent temperature and cover. Ready? Let's go. Why deep, stable structure owns winter. Water temps down to 35, 39 degrees, the coldest of the year. Shallower water swings wild. Deep, stable zones hold steady within a degree or two. Bass school by size on the best cover. One good spot can hold 5 to 8 pounders all month. Forage, shad, craws, ball up tight to the same stuff. The four structures I'm living on right now. 1, standing hardwood or cedar timber in 30 to 50 feet. The thicker, the better. 2, deep brush piles, especially ones topped out at 25 to 35 feet. 3, chunk rock piles or roadbed drops that fall in the old creek channel. 4, sharp creek or river channel bends closest to the dam. I idle with side imaging on, looking for the thick cover touching the deepest stable water. When I mark timber or brush with big arcs glued to it, that's home. Money baits for stable deep structure. 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon, chrome or white, drop through the limbs. 1/2 to 3/4 ounce football jig plus a small craw trailer, dead drag the base. A Demiki or 1/2 ounce jig head with a 3 to 4 inch shad imitator, hover just above. Presentation is patience on steroids. Hover directly over the cover, drop the bait straight down, work it vertically with long pauses. Lift, flutter, sit 15 to 45 seconds. Bites are almost always on the fall or pause. One January day out, water was 37 degrees, air was 24. Found one cluster of cedar tops at 36 feet. Parked on it for 3 hours. Spoon and Demiki only. Caught 14 keepers. The biggest was over 8. Would have been a heck of a bag. One spot, one school, one limit. That's winter stable structure. From the bank, deep stable structure is tougher without a boat, but you can still tap into it. Find public dams or steep bluffs where standing timber or rock drops straight off into 40 plus feet. Use a heavy 3/4 ounce or 1 ounce spoon or football jig. Cast as far as you can toward the deep stuff. Let it sink all the way, then yo-yo or dead drag it back up the drop. I've caught 7-pounders off dam riprap in January just by working the deepest water I could reach. The fish live right where the steep meets the deep. Your deep stable structure cheat sheet. Depth node, 30 to 50 feet. The colder, the deeper. Cover, timber, brush, chunk rock, channel drops. Baits, spoon, football jig, Demiki rig. Speed, glacial, long pauses, vertical work. Pro move, mark every good cluster. They hold fish all month. Your bonus, post front or high pressure sunny days means they're tightest to cover. Find the stable, stay on the stable, catch the giants. And there you have it. Winter isn't dead. The big ones are just chilling in the basement on the best furniture. Next brutally cold day, ignore the shallows, go find deep stable cover, and park on it like you own it. When that 8-pounder thumps the spoon at 38 feet, you'll forget the cold real quick. Water's in the upper 30s, and the bass are basically comatose at dawn. But midday, 1 or 2 degrees of sunlight can flip the switch. Today, we're talking the real winter bite window, midday warmth. When the sun finally climbs and those deep fish get just enough motivation to eat. Here's why midday is winter gold. At dawn, water's still dropping from overnight cold. Bass are locked down, negative. Midday sun, even in January, warm surface in shallow rocks, 1 to 3 degrees in 2 to 4 hours. That tiny bump raises metabolism just enough for them to slide up the break or chase a bait. Most anglers quit by 11 or flat out won't even go out. You get the lake to yourself when the bite turns on. the prime midday window I'm living in. 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., earlier if sunny, later if cloudy. South, west-facing rocks, riprap, or timber tops that catch direct sun. Deep to shallow transitions, 25 to 35 feet out to 10 to 18 feet on sun-baked banks. Any structure that's been in sunlight for 3+ hours. The rocks are the heaters. Baits that fire up when the temp ticks up. A half-ounce football jig with a small craw trailer. Slow drag the warmed rocks. Suspending jerkbait and ghost minnow. Long pauses at 12 to 20 feet. A small 3.3-inch swim bait on a 3/8 ounce head. Slow reel just off the bottom. Last time out, launched at about 9:45. Water was about 37 degrees. Fished a shallow rock until 11 a.m. One dink. By 12:30, the sunny bank hit 40. Switched to a jig and small swim bait, 12 keepers in 3 hours. Same bank at dawn, crickets. Midday warmth made the difference. And check this out. If you're fishing from the bank, this pattern is tailor-made for you. Pick any public dam, riprap point, or steep bank that faces south or west. Show up around 10 a.m., dip your thermometer in the water every hour. When that sunny rock face climbs 1 to 2 degrees, start working the warm transition with a jig or small swim bait. I've had days on public dams where the cold side was dead, but the sunny rocks produced 10+ fish after noon. Same rocks, just waited for the heat. Your midday warmth cheat sheet. Prime hours, 10:30 to 3 p.m. Let the sun do the work. Target south, west-facing rock, timber, or riprap that's been in the sun for 3 or more hours. Depth shift, 10 to 25 feet on warm structure. Shallower when the temperature rises. Baits, jig, jerkbait, small swim bait, slow, everything. Your key sign. Watch your graph temp rise 1 degree plus or minus. That's the trigger. Pro move. Sleep in, launch late. Fish until the sun drops. You'll outlast the early birds. The fish don't care what time you launch. They care about the temperature. And there you have it. Quit freezing at daylight and start cashing in when the lake actually warms up. Next winter morning, check the forecast for sun, sleep in, and go beat the sunny rocks after 10. When that 7-pounder eats on the warm break, you'll wonder why you ever set the alarm for 5. It's winter, water's as cold as it's going to get, and a perfectly suspending jerkbait is still one of the deadliest tools in the box, especially in clear, cold lakes where the fish are negative, but will react to something that looks like a dying shad hanging in their face. Today, we're breaking down why suspending jerkbaits keep producing giants in the heart of winter, the exact setup I'm using, and the long pause cadence that's putting tanks in the boat. Why suspending jerkbaits own winter. Water's gin clear and cold. Bass see everything and won't chase far. A true suspender hangs level in the strike zone forever. Looks like a shad that just gave up. Reaction bite. Without the energy burn. Perfect for low metabolism fish. My current killer setup. Bait. Mega Bass Vision 110+1, Lucky Craft Pointer 100, or a Spro Mixstick 110. Tuned to suspend dead level in 36 to 39 degree water. Rod, a 6'10" to 7-foot medium. Soft tip for long casts and treble hooks. Line, 10-pound braid to 8 to 10-pound floral leader. No stretch, long casts in the cold. Colors, ghost minnow, pro blue, table rock shad, French pearl. Translucent and flashy. Prime spots right now. Rocky secondary points with 12 to 25-foot breaks. Bluff ends dropping into 30+ feet. Standing timber edges or deep dock pilings. The cadence that's been money. 3 sharp rips, long slackline pause. 15 to 35 seconds, sometimes 45 or more. Colder or clearer equals longer pause. Count out loud to stay honest. Bites almost always on the pause. Rod load soft, no thump. One January day out, the water was 37 degrees. It was a high sky. Hit a rocky bluff point, dropping about 40 feet. First 15 casts with 25 to 30-second pauses. 12 keeper-sized fish with a tank of a kicker smalling. all in a Vision 110+1 in French Pearl. Same spot with a lipless, 3 fish. The fish were all about the dying shad that day. Bank anglers, suspending jerkbaits work great from shore too, especially on dams or steep riprap points. Use the same 110 size bait, cast parallel down the rocks into deep water, and do the exact long pause cadence. I've stood on public dams in January with a jerkbait rod and caught 8 to 10 fish in the morning just by letting it hang 30 plus seconds beside the drop. The fish cruise the break lines and can't stand the dying shad look. Your suspending jerkbait cheat sheet. Bait, true suspender. Test it in the current water temp to make sure it is actually suspending. Pause length, 15 to 45 seconds. Colder, clearer means longer. You retrieve 3 rips, slack, and start counting. Spots, rocky drops, bluffs, timber edges, from 12 to 30 feet. Line, braid to floral leader for distance and feel. Your bonus, add a feather treble or scent if they're short striking. The longer it hangs, the harder they hit. And there you have it. Tie on a suspender and let it do the work. Next brutally cold, clear day, find a rocky drop, rip, pause, rip, and count higher than ever. When that 7-pounder loads on 30 Mississippi, you'll forget it's freezing. It's winter, water's cold, and the bass are locked tight to deep cover like it's the only warm place left on Earth. Today, we're talking the most efficient, arm-saving way to catch them right now. Vertical jigging deep cover with blade baits and bucktails. Drop it straight down, work it in place, and let the fish come to you. Why vertical jigging deep cover owns this time of year. Bass are hugging timber, brush, and rock piles in 30 to 50 feet for stability. Casting wastes time. Vertical puts the bait in their living room instantly. One good piece of cover can hold an entire school. No running and gunning needed. My deep cover vertical arsenal. A 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce blade bait, a steel shad, a Demiki Balt or a Binsky in chrome or white, a 3/8 to 1/2 ounce bucktail or marabou jig, white or chartreuse white. Your line, 12 to 14 pound braid to a 10 to 12 pound floral leader. Feel every tick. Rod, 7 to 7'3" medium heavy. You want to have some backbone to pull them out of that lumber. Prime targets right now. Standing timber trunks or tops in 30 to 45 feet. Deep brush piles, especially ones you may have planted a few years ago. Rock piles or stump fields off channel drops. The 2 retrieves that are crushing. 1, a classic yo-yo, drop to bottom, rip up 2 to 4 feet, free fall, pause 10 to 20 seconds. The subtle flutter. Lift 12 to 18 inches, let it helicopter down, dead stick for 15 to 30 seconds. Bites are almost always on the fall or pause. The rod just goes heavy. Last Monday, water was 37 degrees, air was 22, parked on one cedar cluster at 38 feet. Vertical blade and bucktail only. Stayed 3 hours, 15 keepers. Would have been a solid tournament bag. Didn't move the boat once. That's vertical deep cover efficiency. Bank anglers. Vertical jigging deep cover is one of the few patterns you can almost duplicate from shore. Find public dams, bridges, or high bluffs where timber or rock drops straight off into 40 plus feet. Use the same 1/2 to 3/4 ounce blade or bucktail, cast as far toward the deep stuff as possible, or drop straight down the face. Then yo-yo or flutter it in place all the way back. I've got 7-pounders off steep dam riprap in January just by working one deep zone vertically. The fish live right where the cover meets the drop. Your vertical deep cover cheat sheet. Cover, timber, brush, rock piles in 30 to 50 feet. Baits, blade bait, and a bucktail jig. Your cadence, rip, fall, pause, or subtle lift, flutter, dead stick. Your boat position, hover directly over, no casting needed. Pause length, 10 to 30 plus seconds. Remember, colder equals longer. Pro move, add a stinger treble or scent for short strikers. Vertical jigging turns deep cover into a fish vending machine. And there you have it. Quit running around and start dropping in. Next brutally cold day, find one good deep brush pile or timber cluster, Hover over it and work that vertical magic. When the rod stays loaded and your arms aren't sore from casting, you'll be hooked. It's winter, water's locked to as cold as it's going to get all year, and the bass have the metabolism of a rock. I'm going to say the thing that hurts, but saves every trip. You are almost certainly still fishing too fast. I watched guys with 30 years of experience hop jigs like it's April and swear the lake is dead. I used to be that guy. Today we fix it. Ultra slow presentations with jigs, worms, and creature baits that match the near hibernation these fish are in. Rule of thumb, if you think it's slow enough, cut your speed in half again. In 36 to 39 degree water, bass move inches, not feet. They want the bait to crawl within an inch of their nose and sit there like it's frozen solid. My go-to glacial rigs right now, a 3/8 to 3/4 ounce football or finesse jig and a tiny crawl or twin tail trailer. I love green pumpkin and brown. Texas rigged 5 to 7 inch straight tail worm or a 4-inch creature on a 1/4 to 1/2 ounce tungsten. Line, 10 to 15 pound fluoro, heavy enough to sink, light enough to feel everything. My retrieve recipe that's crushing. Cast past the target, let it hit the bottom, drag it 4 to 8 inches, pause 30 to 90 seconds, and drag again. I'll literally watch the minutes on my Garmin. The bite is just wait, reel down slow, and then swing. I was out one time, water was 37 degrees. On a 38-foot brush pile, I dragged a 1/2 ounce jig exactly like that. 10 plus keepers in 3 hours. Would have been a pretty decent bag. Took forever because it felt like I moved the bait maybe 20 total feet all day. And bank guys, ultra slow is perfect for you. You've got all the time in the world. Find any deep riprap, dam face, or steep bank you can reach. Use the same 1/2 ounce jig or Texas rig. Cast as far toward deep water as possible. Let it sink fully. Then crawl it up the break, one tiny hop every 45 to 60 seconds. I've seen bank anglers on public dams in January dead stick a jig for minutes at a time and catch 5 to 7 pounders, while everyone else is hopping too fast and getting nothing. Your January ultra slow cheat sheet. Speed slower than slow. Think frozen. And I'm not talking about Elsa. Baits, football jig, Texas rig worm, creature, small trailers. Pause length, 30 to 90 plus seconds. Colder equals longer. Your bite feel, just heavy. Stay tight, reel down, and swing. Spots, deep brush, timber, rock piles, channel edges. Your bank bonus, long casts plus extreme patience on steep drops. Write slower in Sharpie on every rod handle this month. And there you have it, the single biggest reason most guys freeze for nothing in January. Slow down until it feels painful, then slow down some more, and watch the rod load up like you cracked a code. The bass are staring at two things, dying shad and sluggish crawfish. Everything else is just noise. Today, we're talking imitating winter prey, downsizing to small swim baits, spoons, and finesse plastics that look exactly like the easy meals they're keyed on. Why matching winter forage is January essential. Shad are dying off or balled up and tiny and pale. Most are 2 to 3.5 inches, barely moving. Crawfish are buried and slow, dark, compact, 2 to 3 inches max. Bass in the upper 30 water won't burn energy on anything that doesn't scream free lunch. My current they can't resist imitation lineup. 1. The dying shad look. A 2.8 to 3.5 inch Kitech or Z-Man TRD minnows on a 1/4 to 3/8 ounce underspin or ball head. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce silver flutter spoon, pure dying flutter. A 3/8 ounce blade bait in white or chrome. Number 2, the crawfish look. A 3 to 4 inch green pumpkin or brown finesse craw or creature on a 3/8 1/2 ounce jig or Texas rig. A small Ned craw in green pumpkin or black and blue, depending on the water clarity. Colors, ghost minnow, pro blue, smoked pearl, or shad. Green pumpkin or brown for the craws. Again, you want to match that water clarity. Nothing bright or oversized. Retrieve, match the dying sluggish vibe. Shad, ultra slow reel or reel stop reel with 10 to 20-second pauses. Your crawl, drag 4 to 6 inches, shake it in place for 30, maybe 60 seconds, and drag again. Just remember the water's going to be very cold, so keep your shakes to a minimum. Last time out, water was 38 degrees. Found a bait ball over a 35-foot flat. Switched to a 3.3-inch Kitech on a 1/4 ounce USA bass tackle underspin. 14 keepers in 2 hours. It was a solid freaking bag. Had a kicker over 7.2. Same spot with bigger baits, just 2 follows. Size and action made the difference. Bank anglers. Imitating winter prey works great from shore too. On dams or steep riprap, use the same small Kitech underspin combo or a finesse craw jig. Cast as far as you can towards deep water and let it sink fully. Then slow reel or dead drag it back up the rocks. I've caught limits on public dams in January just by matching the tiny dying shad flickering on the surface. The fish cruise the break and inhale the perfect imitation. Your winter forage imitation cheat sheet. Shad size, 2.5 to 3.5 inches max. Translucent colors. Craw size, 3 to 4 inches. Compact. Green pumpkin or brown. Your top baits, a small swim bait with an underspin, a flutter spoon, a finesse craw jig. Your retrieve, dying flutter or a dead crawl. Match the mood. When clear to lightly stained, post front, or when big baits are getting ignored. Here's your bonus. Add garlic scent to craw imitations. They'll hold on to it a little bit longer. Match the menu and they'll order big. And there you have it. Quit throwing your favorite and start throwing what they're actually eating. Tie on something tiny that looks half dead, work it slower than slow, and watch winter stop feeling like punishment. It's the coldest month. Water's as cold as it gets, and heavy flow scatters them. But subtle current? That's the cheat code that activates bait and pulls bass out of their coma without spooking them. Today, we're talking seeking subtle current in winter. The tiny flows from generation wind or inflows that turn negative fish into eaters. Why subtle current is January magic. Cold bass hate heavy current, burns too much energy. But a gentle push, 1 to 2 miles an hour, moves bait, oxygenates water, and positions fish in the predictable ambush spots. It's like turning on a slow conveyor belt of groceries. They'll eat without moving far. The subtle current spots I'm living on right now. Number 1, inside bends of creek channels where flow slows. Behind wing dams, laydowns, or boulder fields that break the current. Number 3, bluff ends or points where wind or generation wraps and creates an eddy. Number 4, inflow areas from small creeks or drains. Even a trickle counts. I look for foam lines, surface swirls, or debris drifting slow. That's the seam. Money baits for subtle current. A 1/2 ounce football or finesse jig, green pumpkin or black blue, depending on your water clarity, plus a small craw trailer. A Demiki or a jig with a 3 to 4 inch shad imitator, hover it in the slack. A 3/8 to 1/2 ounce slow rolled spinnerbait. White or chartreuse white if the water's stained. Retrieve, let the current do 80% of the work. Cast upstream of the break, let it swing down the seam. When it hits slack, pause for 20, 60 seconds. Bites come the second it stops moving. I was out on a light generation day, water was hovering around 38 degrees, found a channel bend with the laydown breaking the flow, jig and Demiki only. I was on them, hammered home 10 plus keepers in 2 hours. All in the eddy pocket behind the log. Same area without the flow? Skunk City. Bank anglers, check this out. Subtle current is one of your best friends, especially on rivers or tail races. Find public access below dams or at creek inflows where even light flow creates an eddy behind rocks or logs. Use the same 1/2 ounce jig or Demiki, cast upstream along the bank, let the current swing it into the slack and pause long. I've caught limits off tail race riprap in January just by fishing the calm pockets behind boulders. The current delivers the bait right to them. Your January subtle current cheat sheet. Flow strength, gentle 1 to 2 miles an hour. Foam lines or drifting debris are your signs. Spots, Eddies behind laydowns, boulders, wing dams, or channel bends. Your baits: a jig, a demiki, or slow rolling a spinnerbait. Cast: upstream, swing into the slack, long pause. When? Light generation, windy days pushing one bank, or small inflows. Here's your bonus: stained water plus a subtle flow, most aggressive bite of the month. Subtle current doesn't scatter them, it feeds them. And there you have it. Quit avoiding flow and start hunting the gentle stuff. Next cold January day with a little ripple or generation, go find the eddy pockets and serve dinner on that conveyor belt. When the rod loads in the slack, you'll be glad you chased the current. And while most guys are hiding in deep timber getting 2 bites, I'm beating sunny South Banks for some of the best fishing of the winter. Today, we're talking January's underrated pattern: fishing sunny South Banks, when even a weak winter sun warms the rocks enough to pull bass shallow and turn them on. Here's why sunny South Banks are January gold. Low winter sun is weak, but dark chunk rock and riprap soak up every ray. Water along south or southwest facing banks warms 1 to 3 degrees in a few hours. Huge in 37-degree water. Crawdads wake up, shad slide up, and bass move from 30 plus feet to 8 to 20 to feed and loaf. Most anglers stay deep or go home. You get the warm zone all to yourself. The sunny banks I'm living on right now: long south to southwest facing chunk rock, bluffs, or riprap. Dam faces or causeways getting direct afternoon sun. Rocky secondary points inside creek arms that face the sun. Any dark bottom pocket with stumps or laydowns baking in the light. I hit them from 10:30 a.m. onward. Let the rocks cook first. Money baits for warm south banks: a 3/8 to half-ounce football jig. I love my green pumpkin or brown, plus a small crawl trailer. Drag the sun-baked rocks. A 1/4 to 3/8 ounce Ned rig or shaky head. Dead stick it in the pockets. Suspending jerkbait, ghost minnow, or pearl blue. Long pauses for cruisers. One January day out, the air was 22 degrees at launch and the sky was high. Got on the water about 10 a.m., hit a south-facing riprap bank that had been sun-soaked since the sun came up. Water on the rocks was almost 40 degrees. Jig and Ned only, and I was on them. 17 keepers in 4 hours. If I was on that same bank at dawn, I would have been lucky to get a dink. The midday warmth flips that. And check this out. If you're fishing from the bank, sunny South Banks are your wheelhouse. Find any public dam, causeway, or park shoreline that faces south or southwest. Show up around 10 a.m. and feel the rocks. If they're warm to the touch, start working the waterline down the break with a jig or a Ned. I've had killer days on public riprap in January just by fishing the sunniest side after the rocks heated up. The bass slide right up to feed where you're standing. Your January sunny South Bank cheat sheet. Weather trigger: clear sky plus light wind plus a south-southwest exposure. Time window: 10:30 to 3:30 p.m. Let the sun cook the rocks. Depth shift: 8 to 25 feet on warm structure. Baits: jig, Ned, jerkbait, slow drags, and long pauses. Your key sign: water temp rise of 1 degree or more, or rocks warm to the touch. Your bonus: chunk rock, riprap, dark clay. The darkest absorbs heat fastest. When the sun's out in January, the South Bank is where it's at. And there you have it. Quit hiding from bluebird days and start running to the sunny side. Next cold, clear January forecast: sleep in a bit, let the rocks warm, then go beat the South Bank like it's early spring. You'll be culling while everyone else is still waiting for clouds. Lakes are gin clear and the bass are pickier than ever. Today, we're talking the one change that's added 10 plus fish to almost every trip this month: downsizing line and baits. Lighter line, smaller profiles, better feel, natural fall, and way more eats from negative fish. While downsizing is January essential, cold, clear water, bass see heavy line and big baits from a mile away. Negative fish barely inhale. Thick line masks the bite. Heavy baits fall too fast. Light line plus small baits is a slower fall, more natural action, longer holds, and solid hook sets. My current downsized setup that's super good. Line. I use Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon in 8 to 12 pound. 10 pounds on everything right now. Rods. I use a Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium and a Megabass Destroyer Addermine for finesse work. Reels. A Shimano Stratic, super good. And Stella, although very, very expensive, has a super smooth drag on it and one of the best finesse reels you can have out there. But they're great with smooth drag for light line fight. Your baits. You're looking at a 3/8, half-ounce finesse or football jig, plus a 3-inch craw trailer, a 1/4 to 3/8 ounce Ned, or a drop shot with a 4 to 5-inch worm, or a 3 to 3.5-inch swim bait on a 1/4 ounce underspin. Last Wednesday, water's 37 degrees with high pressure. Fishing a 35-foot brush pile, heavy 17-pound, a 3/4 ounce jig, 4 fish, 3 missed bites. Switched to my X-Pride with 10-pound sunline and a 3/8 ounce jig for the next hour. Had 11 keepers, all were hooked perfectly. Same spot, same fish, downsizing turn follows into a 29.2 limit and a 7.9 kicker. Bank anglers, check this out. Downsizing line and baits is even more critical for you. Longer casts, lighter weight, high pressure water. Spool 8 to 10 pound fluoro on your spinning setup, tie on a 3/8 ounce jig or a Ned, and work steep riprap or dam faces. You'll feel every tick and get way more bites than the guy next to you throwing heavy gear. I've seen bank guys on public lakes go from skunks to limits in January just by dropping the 10-pound line and tiny trailers. The fish can't resist that natural fall. Your January downsizing cheat sheet. Line. My favorite is Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon, 8 to 12 pound max. 10 pounds is the sweet spot. Baits. 3/8 ounce jigs, Ned, drop shot, small swim baits, nothing over a half ounce. Rod and reel. Use somewhere around a 7-foot medium. I love the Shimano X-Pride line, and although it's a high budget rod, the Megabass Destroyer line is awesome too. And I put Shimano reels on everything I use. When? Clear water, post front, heavy pressure, or short strikes. Your benefits. Insane sensitivity, natural fall, longer holds. Here's your bonus. Retie often, light line is just cheap insurance. Downsize the gear, upsize the results. And there you have it. Quit muscling them and start finessing them. Next trip, spool some light sunline, tie on something small, and feel every breath those January fish take. When the rod stays loaded on 10 pounds, you'll never go back to heavy line in the cold. If you're staring out the window thinking January bank fishing is a lost cause, you're in the right place. I get it though. 20-something degrees, wind cutting like a knife, fingers numb just trying to tie a knot. But I started bank fishing winter ponds as a kid with nothing but a cheap rod and frozen toes. And some of my biggest bass ever came in January on foot. Today's 100% for everyone without a boat or when the ramp's iced over. The 7 hardcore strategies I still swear by to catch January bass from shore when it feels impossible. Here are my 7 January bank fishing rules. The ones that turn frozen fingers into sore thumbs. Number 1, target the deepest, steepest access you can find. Public dams, bridge riprap, spillway walls, high bluffs, or roadbed cuts that drop straight into 30 to 50 feet. The fish are deep. You have to reach them or you're wasting time. 2, fish the sunny or wind-blown side first and be patient for warmth. South, west-facing rocks heat up fastest, even in weak sun. Wind pushes bait to one bank. Show up around 10 a.m. and let the rocks warm. That 1 to 2 degree rise pulls fish up the break. Number 3, downsize everything and fish ultra slow. 3/8 to half-ounce jigs on 10 to 12 pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon, 1/4 ounce Ned rigs, half-ounce blade baits, drag inches, pause 30 to 90 seconds. January bass barely move. Number 4, 3 pre-rigged rods. No retying in the cold. I use a Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 for jigs. I use a Megabass Destroyer Addermine spinning rod with a Shimano Vanfer 3000 for a Ned or drop shot. A longer X-Pride 7'6" with a Corrado for blade baits or spoons. But you can use something similar in size and action. Number 5, Use the clock method, 12 casts max per spot. Then move, fan cast like a clock around you. No bites by cast 12, walk 50 to 100 yards, cover water efficiently. Number 6, focus on transitions and subtle changes. Big to small rock, rock to clay, shade line to sun, or the current slows behind a boulder. That's where the negative fish are going to park. Number 7, commit to the grind. Hours, not minutes. Dress in layers, bring hot coffee, hand warmers, and stay out there. The bite often turns on late when everyone else is home warming up. I'll never forget January 2010. Didn't have a boat yet, was working 2 jobs, fishing a local reservoir dam every weekend. Water was in the 30s, wind was howling off the lake. I'd layer up like I was ice fishing, walk in with 3 rods rigged exactly just like I described, and grind a 200-yard stretch of riprap from 10 a.m. to dark. One Sunday, I caught 19 fish with an 8-pounder mixed in there. Released every single one of them, of course. Took a grainy shot with my OG iPhone and walked out smiling while my fingers thawed. That day taught me January bank fishing isn't about luck. It's about preparation, patience, and refusing to quit when it hurts. Here's a quick January bank beater recap to live by. Number 1, deepest, steepest access. Number 2, sunny or wind side plus wait for the warmth. Number 3, downsize and ultra slow. Number 4, 3 pre-rigged rods. You do not want to retie in the cold. 5, the clock method. Move if no bites. Number 6, transitions are everything. And number 7, commit for hours. The grind wins. Print that list, tape it in your tackle box. And there you go, my bank dudes. Proof January bank fishing can be epic if you play it smart. Pick the best public access you've got, follow those 7 rules, and go prove the lake's not dead. Water's locked in the mid to upper 30s, and bridge pilings are some of the most overlooked winter bass factories on the planet. Today, we're talking vertical fishing bridge pilings, why they hold big schools all month, exactly how to drop on them, and the baits that make them eat when it's brutal cold. Why bridge pilings are January cheat codes. Instant 30 to 60 foot depth with 0 current in the shadow. Perfect stable winter hideout. Cables, boards, and old debris create a buffet line for craws and shad. Concrete absorbs and holds any ambient heat, plus blocks wind and light. One good piling can hold a dozen fish stacked vertically. Big ones usually on the deepest part. The pilings I'm crushing right now. 1, main channel bridges with pilings dropping straight into 40 plus feet. 2, older bridges with cable brush or debris hanging 20 to 40 feet down. 3, shady north side pilings on sunny days, fish stay all day. 4, any piling near a channel swing or a bend. I idle the bridge shadow with side imaging on first. Mark the deepest pilings with hanging junk, then ease in quiet and hover. Money vertical baits for pilings. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce blade bait. I like them in chrome and white. I put it on my Shimano X Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. You can use something very similar to that in your favorite brands. 3/8 to 1/2 ounce bucktail or marabou jig. Deadly when they want hair. Drop shot with 4-inch worm as a backup on the Megabass Destroyer Addermine 611 medium light spinning with the Shimano Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. Technique: position in deep water, drop straight down the face or cables. Lift 12 to 24 inches, free fall, pause 10 to 30 seconds. Work it like an elevator up and down the pile. Bites come on the fall or pause. The rod will just load. I was out the other day, water was 37 degrees. There was a little bit of light rain in the air. I tucked under a highway bridge on Malones, hovered one piling with hanging cables at 38 feet. Vertical blade on the X Pride Corrado combo. Stayed 2 hours, 14 keeper-sized spots. It was a ton of fun. Didn't move the boat more than 20 feet. One piling, one school, one limit. And my bank guys, bridge pilings are one of your absolute best January shots. Find public bridges or overpasses with walkable access to the pilings. Many trail races and reservoirs allow it. Use the same 3/4 ounce blade bait on a longer rod like a Shimano X Pride 7.5 with a Corrado. Drop straight down the face from the catwalk or bank edge and yo-yo it in place. I've caught 7 to 8 pounders off public bridge pilings in January just by working one deep corner vertically. The fish live right there year round. Your January bridge piling cheat sheet. Target: deepest pilings with cable or debris in 30 to 60 feet of water. Baits: blade bait, bucktail, drop shot. Setup: I like to use a Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy. Feel free to use any brand that you like in a similar size and action. I like a Corrado 150 and I like 12-pound fluorocarbon. I prefer Sunline Sniper for the power. Cadence: lift, fall, and pause. Work the entire water column. Your boat position: hover in deep, drop beside the concrete. Here's your bonus: shady pilings on sunny days or light current sides when generating. One good piling can own your whole day. And there you have it. Quit overlooking the concrete jungle and start dropping in on it. Next cold January day, find a bridge with deep pilings, hover or walk in, and go vertical. When that 8-pounder loads up beside that piling, you'll be hooked on it all winter. Lakes are gin clear, and the bass are as negative as it gets. Heavy jigs and spoons can get ignored. Finesse might be the only language they're speaking when you go out. Today, we're mastering January finesse techniques: drop shot, Ned rig, shaky head, and light line tricks that trigger bites when everything else fails. Why finesse is January's lifeline. Cold, clear water, and high pressure equals spooky and lethargic fish. They won't chase or inhale big baits. Light line and tiny profiles get in their face without alarming them. A subtle presentation with long pauses lets negative bass swim over and suck it in. My core January finesse arsenal: drop shot, a 1/4 to 3/8 ounce tungsten weight on a #1 owner mosquito hook with a 4 to 5 inch straight tail worm, green pumpkin or morning dawn. On 8-pound, I like to use Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon, and I rig mine on a Mega Bass Destroyer Landsat 611, extra fast spinning with a Shimano Vanford 3000. Feel free to use a similar setup with the same size and action. On the Ned rig, a 1/4 ounce mushroom head with a 2 3/4 TRD or a Zinkers. Dead stick it for minutes on that same Landsat Vanford combo or a similar size one. Shaky head, 1/8 to 1/4 ounce ball head, a 4 to 6 inch finesse worm, nose hooked. You can use a similar size rod. I like the Shimano X-Pride 6.9 medium light, also on a 3000 size reel with 8 to 10 pound. I use Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Line across the board is 8 to 10 pound Sunline fluorocarbon. It's got insane feel and a natural fall. Your retrieve philosophy: less is more. Drop shot, nose hook the worm, shake tiny for 5 to 10 seconds, and dead stick it for 30 to 90 seconds. On Ned or shaky head, you want to drag it inches, shake it in place, let it sit forever. Bites will feel like weight or a soft tick. Reel down and swing easy. One January day out, it was post front, high pressure. I was fishing a 35-foot rocky point. Heavy jig got 2 short fish. Switched to the Landsat with a drop shot and 8-pound Sunline Assassin. Put 13 keeper-sized fish on the board in the next hour. Same fish, same spot. Finesse turned a slow day into a limit. And my bank dudes, finesse is your secret weapon on high-pressure public water. On dams, riprap, or steep points, use the same light spinning setup like me: a Mega Bass Destroyer, Landsat, or the X-Pride 6.9 medium light, with the Shimano Vanford 3000, and 8-pound Sunline, or a similar pairing of your favorite brand. Cast the drop shot or Ned as far toward deep water as possible. Let it sink fully, then dead stick or tiny shake it back up the rocks. I've watched bank guys on crowded lakes in January go from 0 to limits just by downsizing to finesse and waiting a little bit longer. The fish cruise the break and can't resist the subtle presentation. Your finesse mastery cheat sheet: when to go finesse. Clear water, post front, heavy pressure, short strikes, or suspended fish. The core rigs: a drop shot, a Ned, shaky head. Your line: 8 to 10 pound Sunline Assassin or Sniper fluorocarbon. Don't go any heavier than 8 or 10 pounds. Your rod and reel: use somewhere in the range of a 611 or smaller, medium to medium light with a 3000 series reel. Action: tiny shakes plus long dead sticks, think 30 to 90 plus seconds. Your bonus, nose hook, everything, and add scent if they're finicky. Finesse isn't backup, it's the main event in winter. And there you have it. When the bite's tough, go light and subtle. Next brutally cold January day, dust off the spinning gear, spool 8-pound line, and master the shake and weight game. When that 7-pounder loads up soft on the medium light, you'll forget the cold real quick. The water's as cold as it's going to get, and the bass can be holding to variations in open water flats and humps like wolf packs, not glued to cover, just picking off dying shad. Today, we're talking the deadliest way to catch them right now. Yo-yoing blade baits and jigging spoons over deep flats and humps. Why yo-yoing blade baits and spoons crush January flats and humps. Open water schools suspend or cruise 5 to 15 feet off the bottom following scattered shad. A heavy metal bait falls fast, flutters like a dying bait fish, and triggers reaction bites from fish that won't chase far. One good hump or flat can hold a roaming wolf pack all day. Cover water quick and slow down when you mark them. The spots I'm destroying right now. Number 1, subtle humps or road beds topping out at 25 to 35 feet in 40 to 60 feet of water. Number 2, vast main lake flats near creek channel swings or old road beds. Number 3, transitions from mud to gravel or shell, any slight change on the bottom. Number 4, areas with scattered bait clouds flickering on the grass. I idle grids with sign imaging on, looking for any rise or hard spot. Then I'll use down imaging to confirm fish. Money yo-yo baits in your setup. A 1/2 to 3/4 ounce blade bait in chrome or white on my Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy. Use a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. A 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon in chrome or gold depending on water clarity on that same X-Pride Corrado combo for power. Line, 12 to 15-pound Sunline fluorocarbon, direct tie, no leader. The 2 yo-yo cadences I'm using. 1, aggressive rip. Drop to the bottom, rip up 3 to 5 feet hard, then free fall on slack, and pause for about 10 seconds. Number 2, the subtle lift. Lift 18 to 24 inches, then flutter down, dead stick for 15 to 30 seconds. Bite slam on the fall. Set hard and reel fast. Last Thursday, water was 37 degrees and was a high pressure day. I found a subtle hump rising 48 feet to 32 feet. Marked a school chilling right at the top. Yo-yoed a 1/2 ounce blade on the X-Pride Corrado combo. 15 fish on about 20 drops with a tank of a smallmouth kicker. Stayed on that hump for 2 hours. Never moved more than 50 yards. And bang, guys, yo-yoing blade baits and spoons work from shore if you've got deep access. On dams or high bluffs that drop straight off, use the same 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce blade or spoon on a longer rod like a 7.6 medium heavy. Cast as far as possible towards the deep flat. Let it sink all the way, then yo-yo it back up the drop. I've caught 7-pounders off public dams in January just by working one deep hump I could reach. The flutter draws them from a distance. Your January yo-yo cheat sheet. Spots, subtle humps, flats, road beds in 30 to 60 feet. Baits, a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce blade bait or 3/4 ounce spoon. Setup, I use a Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Feel free to use a similar setup in your favorite brand. Cadence, aggressive rip fall or subtle lift flutter pause. Depth, work 5 to 15 feet off the bottom. Watch your graph if you need to. Bonus, chrome for clear, sunny days, gold for stained or cloudy days. Yo-yo over the desert and watch it turn green. And there you have it. Quit staring at blank water and start ripping metal. Next cold January day, find a deep flat or hump, drop the blade on the medium heavy, and yo-yo till your arms hurt. When that 8-pounder slams it on the fall, you'll be addicted. And while some guys are pounding timber or rock getting slow bites, your bass could be loaded up on deep grass edges, the forgotten winter hideouts where big bass park for stability and easy meals. Today we're talking targeting deep grass edges in winter, why they hold fish all month, exactly where to look, and the slow baits that make them eat when it's brutal. Why deep grass edges are January gold. Residual hydrilla, milfoil, or pondweed in 20 to 40 feet holds oxygen and tiny forage, a winter oasis. Bass use the grass edge like a thermostat and buffet. Stable temperatures, crawls and shad tucked in the green. One good edge can hold a school all day, less roaming than open flats. The grass edges I'm crushing right now. 1. Outside edges of old grass lines dropping into the channel, 25 to 35 feet. Scattered grass patches on flats near creek swings. Transitions where grass meets rock or timber, that combo is lethal. Any remaining green on points or humps in the south-facing arms. I idle with south imaging on, looking for faint fuzz on the bottom, then down imaging to confirm fish. Money baits for deep grass edges. Half-ounce casting jig, plus a small craw trailer. I like to use green pumpkin. I use it on my Shimano X-Pride 6.2 medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Texas rigged 5-inch straight tail worm or creature on a 3/8 ounce tungsten. Same exact X-Pride Corrado setup. Drop shot backup with a 4-inch worm on the spinning rod if they're getting finicky. You retrieve. Crawl slow along the edge. Drag or hop inches through the grass. Pause 20 to 60 seconds when you feel the blades. Pull gently. Bites come as you exit the green. One time out, I found a faint grass edge on a flat dropping to 42 feet. The casting jig on the X-Pride Corrado, where it's 200 yards of edge, caught a bag. All right on the grassline transition. Same area without grass? Nada. And bank anglers. Deep grass edges are tougher without a boat, but if you've got access to reservoirs with remaining grass near steep drops, like some southern public lakes or tail races, it's totally doable. Look for riprap or points where grass historically grows deep. Use the same half-ounce jig or Texas rig on a longer rod. Cast toward the old grass line, let it sink deep, and crawl it back up the break. I've caught solid fish off public access in January just by targeting areas known for winter grass. The edges hold fish you can reach with patience and long casts. Your January deep grass edge cheat sheet. Look for faint green lines or patches in 20 to 40 feet on flats, points, or channel edges. Your key, grass to mud or grass to rock transitions. Baits, casting jig, Texas rig, drop shot. Setup. I like to use a Shimano X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for power through grass. You retrieve, inches at a time, long pauses in the green. And here's your bonus. Southern reservoirs or milder winters will hold grass longer. Find the green edge, milk it slow, and catch the giants. And there you have it. Quit ignoring the grass and start hunting the last green on the lake. Next cold January day, graph for faint edges instead of obvious cover. Drop the jig on the medium heavy and crawl that transition. When that 7.9 loads up coming out of the blades, you'll be a deep grass believer. Water's as cold as it's going to get and the bass are hypersensitive. A big rattle or blade sounds like a fire alarm. But in the right conditions, a tiny bit of vibration can be the trigger that turns a slow day into a limit. Today, we're talking adding minimal vibration in winter. When, where, and exactly how much to use without overdoing it. Why minimal vibration works in winter. Cold bass feel everything through their lateral line. Too much noise spooks them. But in stained water or low light, a subtle rattle or blade gives just enough dinner bell to pull them from 10 plus feet away. It's the difference between a whisper and a shout. Whisper gets the eat. The when to add it rules I live by. In clear water, 0 added vibration. Stay silent. Is it lightly stained to murky? 1 small glass rattle or a tiny blade. Only on cloudy days, post front, or when fish are short striking plain baits. My minimal vibration lineup right now. 3/8 to half-ounce finesse jig with 1 small glass rattle, not those double BB monsters. And a compact craw trailer on a 7.2 medium heavy and 12-pound fluorocarbon. A 1/4 to 3/8 ounce underspin with a 2.8 to 3.3 Kitech and a small willow blade. A 1/4 ounce chatterbait with a trim skirt and a tiny trailer if it's really stained. You retrieve. Keep it slow and subtle. Drag or hop inches, let the vibration do the work on the pause. Bites come when it sits still after the little thump. I remember one winter day out, water was lightly stained from some early morning rain. Plain jig got 3 short fish. Added 1 small rattle to the same half-ounce jig on my X-Pride and Corrado combo The next hour, I got 10 plus keeper size with a magnum size spotty mixed in there. Same place, same slow drag, the tiny click pulled them in without spooking them. And bank anglers, minimal vibration is a game changer on high pressure public water. In stained runoff or murky pockets, add that single small rattle to your half-ounce jig or tie a little underspin. Cast down the riprap or dam face and let the subtle thump draw them from deeper water you can't see. I've seen bank guys turn one bite days into limits in January just by adding a quiet rattle when the water dirtied them. The fish hear it from farther than they see. Your minimal vibration cheat sheet. Clear water, silent only. Stained or murky, one small rattle or a tiny blade. Baits, finesse jig with a light rattle, small underspin, or a baby chatterbait. Setup. I like to use the Shimano X Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for control. Feel free to use something similar in your own favorite brand. You retrieve, slow drag or hop, let the vibration work on the pause. When? Low light, post front, or short strike days. Here's your bonus. Test plain versus rattle in the same spot. The fish will tell you. A little vibration goes a long way. Too much sends them running. And there you have it. Quit going silent when they need a whisper or loud when they need it quiet. Next stained January day, add just enough thump to your jig on the medium heavy and watch the follows turn into solid thumps. The bass are barely moving, but they will eat if you give them time to find your bait. Today we're talking the one adjustment that's added 8 to 12 fish to almost every trip this month. Experimenting with long pauses. 30 seconds, 60 seconds, even 90 plus. The longer you wait, the more they commit. Why long pauses are winter's secret weapon. Cold bass have zero chase mode. They swim over slowly, stare, then inhale. A moving bait gets attention, but a dead still one gets eaten. Looks like an easy dying meal. In clear, high-pressured water, the pause is what separates the follows from the solid hook sets. My long pause baits and setups right now. A football or finesse jig, 3/8 to half ounce, plus a small craw trailer, and I like to use a Shimano X Pride 7.2 medium heavy with a Shimano Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. A Texas rigged 5 to 6 inch straight tail worm or creature on a 3/8 ounce tungsten using that same X Pride Curado combo. Drop shot with a 4-inch worm on spinning gear if they're extra finicky. The pause experiment that's crushing. Drag or hop 4 to 8 inches, dead stick 30 to 90 plus seconds, and repeat. Start at 30 seconds, add 15 every few casts until the rod loads. Count out loud or watch your watch. Keeps you honest. Bites feel like a weight or a soft tick. Reel down slow, then swing. Last week I was out, water was 37 degrees. It was post-front bluebird sky. I was on a 35-foot rocky transition, normal 10 to 15 second pauses, 2 fish with lots of follows. Switch to 45 to 75 second pauses on the half-ounce jig with the X Pride Curado combo. Next hour, 12 keepers. Same bait, same spot. The long wait turns stares into eats. And my bank guys, long pauses are your superpower. You've got nothing but time. On dams, riprap, or steep points, use the same half-ounce jig or Texas rig on a solid rod like a 7'2" medium heavy. Cast as far toward deep water as possible. Let it sink fully, then drag inches and wait. 60, 120 seconds, if you can stand it. I watch bank guys on public lakes in January dead stick a jig for minutes at a time, off the rocks, and catch fish while everyone else is hopping too fast. The pause lets the cruising bass find it. Your January long pause cheat sheet. Start at 30 seconds. Add 15 to 20 every few casts until you find that sweet spot. Baits, a jig, Texas rig, a drop shot. My setup, a Shimano X Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper for feel and control. Feel free to use a similar setup in your own favorite brand. When? Clear water, high pressure, post front, or when you're getting lots of follows. The bite feel. It's going to be a soft wait or a tick. Just stay patient. And here's your bonus. Count out loud or time it. You'll wait longer than you think. The fish will tell you how long. You just got to give them the chance. And there you have it. Quit rushing and start waiting. Next cold January day, force yourself to pause longer than ever on every cast. When that 7-pounder finally loads up on 60 Mississippi, you'll be a pause believer for life. It's January, water's as cold as it's going to get, and the bass aren't scattered through using old creek channels like interstate highways, cruising for stability and easy meals. Today, we're talking fishing deep creek channels in January, why they're bass magnets all month, the exact spots to target, and the slow baits that make them eat when everything else feels dead. Why deep creek channels own January? They're the deepest, most stable paths in the arm, minimal temperature swings. Shad and craws migrate along them, bass follow like it's a buffet line. Bends and junctions create ambush points and rest stops. One good channel can reload with fish all day long. The channel spots I'm crushing right now. 1. Sharp inside bends where the channel swings close to the bank. 2. Junctions where secondary ditches dump in. 3. Long straight runs with scattered stumps or rock on the edge. 4. Places the channel brushes a point or a bluff end. I idle parallel in 45 to 60 feet with side imaging on, marking every bend, stump, or bait cloud, then fish the 15 to 40 foot edges slow. Money baits for deep creek channels. A 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce football jig and a small craw trailer. I like to use green pumpkin or brown. I put that on a Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Feel free to use your favorite brand in a similar setup. A 3/4 ounce flutter spoon, I like chrome, on that same X-Pride Corrado combo for vertical work. A Demiki or drop shot backup if they're suspended. You retrieve, milk the edge, drag or hop the jig inches at a time along the bottom contour. Pause 20 to 60 seconds. Your spoon, drop through suspended fish, and yo-yo with long flutters. I just dropped a video the other day. One of my tips earlier this month was how to yo-yo for fish, so check that out if you haven't seen that already. One January day out, water was 37 degrees, was high pressure. Followed one creek channel bend at 38 feet. Football jig on the X-Pride Corrado combo, worked 250 yards of edge. Caught 15 plus keepers, all in the inside bend and junction. Same R without the channel focus, skunked. And my bank dudes, deep creek channels can still pay off if you've got access to where the channel swings close to the shore. Look for public spots like road crossings, old bridge sites, or dam tails where the channel is within casting distance. Use the same 1/2 ounce jig or spoon on a solid rod like the X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Corrado like I use, or a similar pairing in your favorite brand. Cast across or down the swing, let it sink deep, then crawl or yo-yo it back along the edge. I've caught solid fish off public access in January just by targeting areas where the channel bends near the bank. Long casts and patience will reach the highway. Your deep creek channel cheat sheet. Look for bends, junctions, stump scattered edges in 30 to 50 feet. Depth zone. Fish 15 to 40 foot contours. Baits. Football jig, a spoon, or a Demiki. Setup. A 7 to 7'2" medium heavy rod with 12-pound fluorocarbon for control. You retrieve, inches at a time, long pauses on the edge. Bonus, light generation or wind pushing one way, loads bait on the down current side. Find the highway, follow the bends, and load the boat. There you have it. Quit random deep fishing and start running the creek channel roadmap. Next cold January day, idle the bends instead of guessing, drop the jig on the medium heavy, and milk those edges slow. When the rod stays loaded on one run, you'll be a channel believer. Water's as cold as it's going to get, and the bass aren't hunting, they're grocery shopping. Find the shad or bait balls, and the fish are already there waiting. Today, we're talking spotting bait balls for success in January. Why they're the easy button in the coldest month, exactly how to find them fast, and the baits that clean up when you park on the cloud. Why bait balls are January's cheat code. Shad and threadfin are dying or balled up tight in deep water, tiny, pale, and barely moving. Bass in upper 30-degree water won't roam far. They park on the biggest buffet and eat easy. One good cloud can hold a wolf pack all day. Find the groceries, find the giants. How I spot them quick. Look for thick snowstorm clouds on down imaging or traditional sonar. Tight football-shaped marks hovering 1 to 15 feet off the bottom in 25 to 50 feet of water, usually near structure, channel swings, humps, timber tops, or flats near the dam. Big arcs mixed in or right under that cloud equals bass are eating off the menu. My search routine: start lower lake or near the dam, idle grids in 40 to 60 feet with side and down imaging on. I hunt bait first, fish second. Mark the cloud, circle it, and dissect it slow. Money baits when you're on the cloud: a 3/4 ounce flutter spoon in chrome on the Shimano X Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Feel free to use something similar in your favorite brand. A Demiki rig or half-ounce jig head with a 3 to 4 inch Kitech swim bait. Same Corrado setup. Small underspin backup if they're higher in the ball. Your presentation: get in or under the cloud and move slow. Drop the spoon through, yo-yo with pauses. Demiki rig: hover and tiny shakes. Bites will come on the fall or your first twitch. Last time out on my local spotted bass lake, water was about 39 degrees, high pressure day. Marked a huge shad cloud over a 40-foot flat near a channel swing. Parked on it, spoon and Demiki only. 2 hours over 15 keeper-sized fish. If I was just chucking and ducking the same lake without the bait focus, would have been lucky to boat a handful. And bank anglers: bait balls are still your friend if you have deep access. On dams or steep riprap where shad flicker near the face, use a 3/4 ounce spoon or Demiki on a solid rod like the X Pride 7'2" medium heavy that I use, or a similar length and action in your favorite brand. Cast as far toward the cloud as possible. Let it sink deep into the ball you see shimmering, then yo-yo or hover it back. I've caught limits off public dams in January just by keeping the bait in the visible shad flicker. The bass cruise right there. Your January bait ball cheat sheet. Look for thick gray clouds plus big arcs together. Depth: 25 to 50 feet near structure or channels. Baits: spoon, a Demiki, or an underspin. Your setup: a 7'2" medium heavy rod with 12-pound fluoro. I prefer Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for control. Presentation: drop through or hover under slow and in the cloud. Your bonus: cloudy days or light winds scatter bait higher. Adjust your depth. Spot the shad, spot the success. And there you have it. Quit guessing where the fish are and start hunting the groceries. Next cold January day, idle for bait clouds instead of blind spots, drop the spoon on the medium heavy, and watch the rod stay loaded. When the school fires up, you'll forget it's winter. Lakes are frozen over in some spots, and the bass are basically hibernating. They won't chase, won't hop, but they'll inhale a finesse worm that sits still like it's dead. Today, we're talking dead-sticking finesse worms in January. While letting it sit still for minutes at a time is the ultimate cold water trigger. The exact setups I'm using and how to turn one spot into a limit when everything else feels impossible. Why dead-sticking finesse worms is January's lifesaver. In upper 30-degree water, bass barely move. A bait that just sits looks like an easy, non-threatening meal. The longer it stays put, the more time a cruising or parked fish has to swim over and suck it in. It's finesse at its simplest. No fancy action, just patience in clear, high-pressure conditions. My dead stick setups right now: a 1/8 to 1/4 ounce shaky head or mushroom head with a 4 to 6 inch straight tail finesse worm. I love green pumpkin, smoke's a good color too. I rig mine on a Megabass Destroyer Landsat 611 extra fast spinning rod with a Shimano Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. Feel free to use something similar in your favorite brands. A Texas rig 5-inch worm on a 1/4 ounce tungsten is backup for heavy cover. The dead stick method that's crushing. Cast to deep brush, rock piles, or timber or channel edges in 25 to 45 feet. Let it sink on slack line, tight line it to the bottom, then set the rod down and wait 60 to 180 seconds, maybe even longer. Pick up, shake tiny for 5 to 10 seconds, and then dead stick it again. Bites feel like a soft weight. Reel down, slow, and swing easy. One day out, I had water at about 38 degrees, post front with bluebird skies. On a 38-foot brush pile, normal shakes got 2 shorts. Switch to dead sticking the finesse worm on the Landsat Banford combo for the next 90 to 120 seconds per drop. In 2 hours, I had 12 keeper-sized fish with a tank of a kicker. Same bait, same spot. The long sit turned nothing into a limit. And bank anglers, dead sticking finesse worms is tailor-made for you. No boat means all the time in the world to wait. On dams, riprap, or steep points that drop into deep water, use the same 1/4 ounce shaky head with the 4 to 6 inch worm on a spinning rod like the 611 medium light extra fast destroyer Landsat with the Vanford and 8-pound Sunlight Assassin or your favorite brand in a similar size. Cast as far toward the deep edge as possible. Let it sink fully, get in a comfortable spot, and wait 2 to 3 minutes if you can stand it. I've seen bank guys on public lakes in January dead stick finesse worm for what feels like forever off the rocks and catch fish while everyone else is shaking too much. The pause lets the bass find it. Your January dead stick finesse worm cheat sheet. Baits, shaky head, or a mushroom with a 4 to 6 inch straight tail worm. Your setup. As mentioned before, I like to use a Mega Bass Destroyer Landsat 611 spinning rod with the Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunlight Assassin fluorocarbon. Wait time, 60 to 180 plus seconds. Colder, clearer equals longer. Spots, deep brush, rock piles, timber, channel edges in 25 to 45 feet. Action, sink, dead stick, tiny shake, dead stick again. Here's your bonus, the secret sauce. Add scent or use scent-infused baits like Max Scent Plastics. Sometimes the best technique is no technique at all. And there you have it. Quit working the bait and let the bait work for you. Next cold January day, rig a finesse worm on the 611, cast it out, set the rod down, and wait longer than you think is sane. When that 7-pounder finally loads up on the pause, you'll be a dead stick convert. It's the coldest month. Water's as cold as it's going to get, and while some guys are vertical jigging or dead sticking deep, you could be loading up by crawling jigs on chunk rock. The stable, heat-holding edges where bass slide up to feed on sluggish craws. Today, we're talking crawling jigs on rock in January, why it's a winter sleeper pattern, the exact setup and spots, and the glacial drags that make them eat when it's brutal. Why crawling jigs on rock is January magic. Dark chunk rock holds ambient heat from the sun or stable deep water, a degree warmer than mud or sand. Crawfish burrow in the cracks year-round. Even in cold, bass know it's a reliable snack bar. The rough texture gives the jig that tick-tick feel, triggering bass and fish that won't chase. One good rock stretch can reload all day as schools slide up and down the contour. The rock spots I'm crushing right now. Number 1, steep chunk rock bluffs or points dropping into 30 to 50 feet. Number 2, dam faces or riprap with basketball-sized rocks. Number 3, transitions from big rock to small gravel on flats or channels. Number 4, south-facing rocks on the sunny days. They warm the fastest. I graph the roughest texture on the bottom, then fish the 10 to 35-foot zone slow. Money crawling setups I use. A 3/8 to half-ounce football jig. I love my green pumpkin and brown with a small crawl trailer on a Shimano X-Stride 7.2 medium heavy with a Shimano Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunlight Sniper fluorocarbon. Use similar sizing in other brands if you prefer. I'll use the same jig with a single small rattle if it's slightly stained. A Texas-rigged 5-inch worm on a 3/8 ounce tungsten as backup for snaggy spots. The crawl technique that's crushing. Cast parallel to the rocks or uphill. Let it sink on the slack. Drag 4 to 8 inches, feel the tick-tick over the rocks, and pause for 20 to 60 seconds, and then repeat. Bites come on the pause or when it hangs on a rock. Reel down and swing easy. One time out, water was 38 degrees. It was a high-pressure day. Hit a chunk rock bluff dropping to 45 feet. Crawled a half-ounce jig on the X-Pride Curado combo, worked 250 yards of edge. Caught 10-plus keepers with a 7-pound kicker. Something about jigs that always seems to get that big bite. All on the big to small rock transition. Same bank with lipless? Nada. They were all about the jig. And bank anglers, crawling jigs on rock is one of your strongest plays. Public dams, riprap points, or causeways with chunk rock. Cast that same half-ounce jig on a rod like the X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy with the Curado and 12-pound Sunlight Sniper, or a similar sized combo in your favorite brand. Fan cast parallel or down the rocks. Let it sink deep, then crawl it back up the break with long pauses. I've seen bank guys on a Highland dam in winter absolutely smoke limits just by working the roughest rock stretches slow. The bass live right there. Your January rock crawling jig cheat sheet. Spots: steep, chunk rock bluffs, dams, transitions in 10 to 35 feet. Your baits: a 3/8 to half-ounce football jig plus a small crawl. Your setup: a 7-foot to 7'2" medium heavy with a 12-pound fluoro. I prefer Sunlight Sniper fluorocarbons for the feel. Retrieve: inches at a time. Tick, tick, pause, 20 to 60 seconds. When: sunny afternoons or stable fronts. Rocks warm first. Here's your bonus: add a small rattle and stain and switch to a Texas rig if you're fishing in something a little more snaggy. Crawl the rocks, catch the giants. And there you have it. Quit ignoring the rocks and start crawling them. Next cold January day, find the roughest chunk rock drop, rig the jig on a medium heavy, and drag slower than you think is possible. When that 7.5 loads up on the pause, you'll be a rock crawler for life. The plain bait smells like nothing to them, but add a strong scent, it's like ringing the dinner bell they can't ignore. Today we're talking applying strong scent to baits in January, why it's the edge when fish are negative, and the exact scents and baits I'm using, and how to turn one bite days into limits. Why strong scent is January's game changer. Cold water slows everything. Bass rely on smell and taste more than sight or vibration. A scented bait lingers in their nose longer, turning a curious sniff into a full inhale. In clear, high-pressure water, it's often the difference between a short strike and a 7-pounder swallowing the hook. Plain plastics are neutral. Strong scent screams real food, especially garlic or crawfish formulas that penetrate the cold. My strong scent playbook right now: scent, Jack's juice garlic or crawfish, soak trailers overnight or reapply every 5 to 10 casts. Your baits: a half-ounce football jig with a 3 to 4 inch craw trailer in green pumpkin, Texas rigged 5 to 6 inch straight worm with garlic scent, a small 3.3 inch swim bait on a 3/8 ounce underspin if they want shad. Pro tip: rub the scent into the plastic so it absorbs, not just surface spray. It lasts longer in the cold. I remember one time out, it was a post front clear day on a 38-foot rocky hump. Plain jig got 5 short strikes. I soaked the craw trailer in garlic Jack's juice. Next hour, 11 solid bites with 10 keepers. Best 5 went over 28.4. Same bait, same slow drag. The strong smell made them hold and swallow. And bank anglers, strong scent is your ally on high-pressure public spots. On dams or riprap, apply garlic or crawl to your half-ounce jig or Texas rig every few casts. It draws fish from deeper water you can't see. I've seen bank guys on crowded lakes in January turn skunks into limits just by scenting up and waiting longer. The smell pulls them to your bait on long casts. Your January strong scent cheat sheet: scent types, garlic, crawfish, shad, strong formulas like Jack's juice. Baits: jig trailers, worms, swim baits, soak or rub it in. When: clear water, short strikes, post front, or negative fish. Application: reapply every 5 to 10 casts. Cold water holds it longer. Bonus: pair with a long pause. Scent plus time equals commitment. Strong smell equals strong bites. And there you have it. Quit fishing scent free and start stinking up the water. Next cold January day, soak your jig trailer in garlic on your medium heavy. Let it sit in the zone and watch those short strikes turn into rod doublers. The deepest marina docks are some of the most reliable bass hotels. Stable, shaded, and loaded with forage. Today we're talking fishing deep marina docks in January, why they hold big schools all month, the exact slips to target, and the quiet baits that make them eat when it's frozen. Why deep marina docks are January gold. Floating docks create a dark ceiling that blocks light and traps any ambient heat. Cables and debris hanging 20 to 40 feet down become a vertical buffet for craws and shad. No current, stable Temps, and bass stacked by size on the deepest pilings like apartments. One good row can reload all day as schools slide in from the channel. The marina spots I'm crushing right now. Number 1, the outermost deepest row furthest from the ramp, 40 to 60 feet of water. Number 2, covered slips with hanging cables or brush on the shady north side. Number 3, pilings near channel drops or bends. The transition is key. Number 4, any dock with old boat lifts or debris, extra cover in the deep. I idle the outside edge with side imaging on. Mark the deepest pilings with junk, then ease in quiet and hover. Money baits for deep marina docks. A half-ounce finesse jig. I love green pumpkin. You can look at black and blue depending on what your water clarity is, plus a small craw trailer. I like to throw mine on a Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon, and skip it way back under as far as you can. A drop shot with a 4 to 5 inch straight tail worm with a quarter-ounce weight. This time I'm on the Mega Bass Destroyer Landsat 611 extra fast spinning with a Shimano Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. Nose hook it to let the bait hover a little more freely. You can use your favorite brands of rod or reel or line. Just stick to those similar sizes and weights and actions for the most success. Your presentation: quiet and glacial. Skip or drop vertically back under the walkway. Let it pendulum down the cables or pilings, then dead stick or tiny shakes with 20 to 60-second pauses. Bites are soft. When it loads, reel down easy. Last time out, the water was 41 degrees when I launched, and there was a light rain. I tucked into a deep marina row with 45-foot pilings, finesse jig on the X-Pride Curado, and drop shot on the Landsat Vanford. I stayed 3 hours, got 13 keepers with a 7.5 largemouth mixed in there. 1 row, 1 school, no moving. And bank anglers, deep marina docks can still pay if you've got public access or courtesy docks nearby. Walk the outermost finger or ramp docks that drop into deep water. Use the same finesse jig on the X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Curado, or drop shot on the Landsat with Vanford, or similar sizes in your favorite brands. Skip or drop vertically under the walkway as far as you can reach, then dead stick long. I've caught solid fish off public marina ramps in January just by working the deepest slips from the edge. The bass live right there in the shadows. Your January deep marina dock cheat sheet. Target the outermost deep row, covered slips with cables in 40 to 60 feet. Baits: finesse jig, drop shot. Setup: a 7-foot to 7'2" medium heavy and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for jigs. A 6'10" to 7-foot spinning with a Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon for drop shot, or something similar. Presentation: skip quiet, drop vertical, long dead sticks. When low light or cloudy, they spook easy under docks. Bonus: shady pilings on sunny days will hold all day. 1 deep dock, 1 limit. And there you have it. Quit ignoring the marinas and start sneaking in. Next cold January day, find the deepest, darkest dock row, rig the finesse jig on the medium heavy, and skip it back under. When that 7.6 loads up on the pause, you'll be a marina believer. Water's as cold as it's going to get, and the bass are suspended or glued to the bottom, barely moving. But drop a heavy spoon and let it flutter like a dying shad. It's like ringing the dinner bell they can't ignore. Today, we're talking fluttering heavy spoons in January, why it's the ultimate cold water reaction bait, the exact setups and spots, and the drop flutter pause that's putting giants in the boat when everything else fails. Why fluttering heavy spoons is a January killer. Cold bass won't chase. The fast sink and erratic flutter mimics a dying shad falling helplessly. It cuts through deep water quick, triggers reaction bites from schools that ignore slow stuff. In clear, high-pressure water, the flash and wobble pulls them from 10 to 20 feet away without spooking. My heavy spoon setup right now: a 3/4 to 1 ounce flutter spoon in chrome or white on the Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Curado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Direct tie for feel. Gold spoon if lightly stained. Bucktail jig backup for hair when they want something a little more subtle. Kind of spots for fluttering spoons. Number 1, channel drops or ledges falling into 40 to 60 feet. Number 2, humps or flats with scattered bait 25 to 40 feet deep. Number 3, standing timber edges or bridge pilings in open water. Number 4, areas with dying shad flickering on the surface. Drop it below them. I hover over with my electronics, mark the school or bait, then drop straight into the zone. The flutter technique that's crushing. Drop on a semi-slack line, let it helicopter down, and count to depth. Rip up 2 to 4 feet, free fall on slack, pause 10 to 30 seconds, and repeat. The subtle version: lift 12 to 18 inches, flutter down, Dead stick for 20 to 45 seconds. Bites slam on the fall. Set hard and reel fast. One post-front clear day, I was hovering at channel ledge at 42 feet with scattered shad. Dropped a 3/4 ounce chrome spoon on the X-Pride Corrado combo. First 15 drops with the rip flutter, 12 keepers. Same ledge with jigs, 3 fish. The flutter pulled them in hard. And bank anglers, fluttering heavy spoons work from shore if you've got deep access. On dams or high bluffs, dropping into 40 plus feet, use a 3/4 ounce spoon on a solid rod like the X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Corrado and 12-pound sunline sniper. Cast as far toward the deep as possible, let it sink fully, then rip and flutter back up the drop. I've caught solid fish off public dams in January just by working the ledge flutter style. The fall draws them from deeper than you can see. Your January flutter heavy spoon cheat sheet. Weight, a 3/4 to 1 ounce. Heavier for deeper. Colors, chrome for clear and gold for stained. Your spots, channel drops, humps, flats with bait, 25 to 50 feet. Setup, I like to use a Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Corrado 150 and 12-pound sunline sniper fluorocarbon for backbone. You can use something similar in your favorite brand. Cadence, rip, fall, pause, or lift, flutter, dead stick. Bonus, add a stinger treble if they're nipping at the tail. Flutter the metal, watch the rod bend. And there you have it. Tie on a heavy spoon, find the deep bait, and let the flutter do the talking. Next cold January day, hover a ledge with a medium heavy, drop the chrome, and rip it up. When that 7/8 slams on the fall, you'll be a flutter believer. If your bass aren't committed to the shallows or the abyss, then they're staging on mid-depth transitions where shallow meets deep for that perfect mix of comfort and food. Today, we're checking mid-depth transitions in January, why they're the sweet spot this month, the exact zones to target, and the baits that make them eat when it's frozen thawed. Why mid-depth transitions are January's edge. Water, 36 to 39 degrees, too cold for shallow with the ice risk, too stable for deep, there's no food. Mid-depth, 12 to 30 feet, gives access to both. Transitions create edges, gravel to mud, rock to sand, shallow flat to drop, bait collects, bass ambush. On sunny days, they slide up for warmth. Post front, they drop back. One zone covers the swing. One good transition can hold roaming schools all day as they stage up and down. The mid-depth zones I'm crushing right now. Number 1, gradual breaks from 10 to 15-foot gravel flats to 25 to 35-foot mud. Number 2, rock to sand transitions on points or channel swings. Number 3, edges where shallow weeds die off into deeper rock. Number 4, mid-depth humps or road beds rising 10 to 20 feet off the flat. I idle the 20 to 40-foot contour with side imaging on, looking for line change or bait, then live scope to confirm fish. Money baits for mid-depth transitions. A 1/2 ounce football jig plus a small craw trailer. Love my green pumpkin. Throw it on a Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound sunline sniper fluorocarbon. Drag the break. A suspending jerkbait. Ghost minnow's a solid color. Throw that on an X-Pride 7-foot medium with a Corrado 150 and 10-pound sunline assassin fluorocarbon. Long pauses for cruisers. A small 3.3 swim bait on a 3/8 ounce underspin as backup. You retrieve. Match the transition vibe. Drag or hop the jig inches along the line. Pause 20 to 60 seconds. Your jerkbait. Rip, pause, rip with 15 to 45 second hangs. Bites come on the pause or when it hangs on the edge. One high pressure day out, I found a gravel to mud transition on a point at 18 to 28 feet. Football jig on the X-Pride Corrado worked 150 yards of break. Caught 14 keepers. All right on the line change. Same point without focus on the transition? Nada. And bank anglers, mid-depth transitions are one of your strongest plays. On dams, riprap, or steep public points that drop from shallow to deep, use the same 1/2 ounce jig on the X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Corrado and 12-pound sunline sniper. Fan cast along the break you can reach, let it sink to the line, then drag and pause slow. I've seen bank guys on Highland dams in January absolutely smoke limits just by working the gravel to mud edge on the riprap. The transition holds fish within casting distance. Your January mid-depth transition cheat sheet. Depth, 12 to 30 feet. The shallow, deep handshake. Look for gravel to mud, rock to sand, weed to rock edges. Baits, a football jig, a jerkbait, a small swim bait. And here's your setup. A Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for jigs. A suspending jerkbait gets the X-Pride 7-foot medium with a Corrado 150 and 10-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. Similar sizing in your favorite brands will work great too. You retrieve inches at a time. Long pauses on the line. Your bonus. Sunny afternoons pull them higher. Cold fronts push them deeper. Hunt the handshakes, catch the keepers. And there you have it. Quit extremes and start hunting the middle ground. Next cold January day, graph for those subtle line changes, rig the jig on the medium heavy, and milk the transition slow. When that 7-7 loads up on the edge, you'll be a mid-depth master. Water's as cold as it's going to get, and big baits scare them off. But a small swim bait swimming slow like a dying shad, it's like waving a white flag they can't resist. Today, we're talking swimming small swim baits in January. Why downsizing your paddle tail is the ultimate cold water finesse, the exact setups I'm using, and the glacial swims that are putting 7 to 8 pounders in the boat when everything else fails. Why swimming small swim baits is January's edge. Shad are dying or balled up tiny. Most 2.5 to 3.5 inches, pale and sluggish. Cold bass won't chase big vibrations. A small profile with a subtle thump draws them without spooking. In clear, high-pressure water, the slow swim mimics easy calories they can sip without effort. My small swim bait setup right now, a 2.8 to 3.3 Kitech fat swim impact, or easy shiner on a 1/8 to 1/4 ounce ball head or underspin with a willow blade. Rigged on a Mega Bass Destroyer Flissa fast spinning rod with a Shimano Twin Power 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Perfect for long casts and feel. Colors, Pro Blue, Ghost Minnow, Smoked Pearl, translucent for clear water. Prime spots for swimming small. Mid-depth transitions, 15 to 30-foot gravel flats to mud drops. Deep grass edges or scattered timber on humps. Channel swings with light current, the swim looks natural. South-facing rocks, on sunny afternoons, they slide up. The swim technique that's crushing. Cast long, let it sink to depth on slack. Count it down. Ultra slow, steady reel, barely turning the handle. Tails just kicking. A reel stop reel with 10 to 30-second pauses. Bites on the pause. Keep it 2 to 5 feet off the bottom. Watch your electronics or feel the tick. One post-front clear day, I was out on a 25-foot gravel to mud transition. A big 5-inch swim bait got follows only. Switched to a 3.3 Kitech on a 1/4 ounce head with a Destroyer twin power setup. Next hour, 13 keepers. Same spot, same slow reel. The tiny swim turns stares into slams. And bank anglers. Swimming small swim baits works great from shore. On dams or steep riprap with deep access, use the same 3 to 3.5 inch swim bait on a 3/8 ounce head or underspin with a long spinning rod like the Flissa, which is a 7'6" rod and a 3,000 size reel. And if you're looking for a solid underspin, check these out from USA Bass Tackle. I love the eyes on them. So you're going to want to cast parallel down the rocks into deeper water. Let it sink 15 to 25 feet, then slow reel it back with long pauses. I've seen bank guys on public lakes in January absolutely hammer limits just by swimming tiny along the drop. The subtle thump draws them from deeper than you think. Your January small swim bait cheat sheet. Size 3 to 3.5 inch max. Tiny profiles only. Head, a 1/8 to 1/4 ounce ball or underspin. Willow leaf for subtle. Setup, a long 7-foot plus spinning rod with a 3000 series reel and 8-pound fluorocarbon for cast and feel. You retrieve, glacial steady or reel stop reel with 10 to 30-second pauses. Spots, mid-depth transitions, grass edges, channels in 15 to 30 feet. Bonus, translucent colors and clear add scent if they're short striking. Swim small, catch big, and there you have it. Quit big baiting and start small swimming. Next cold January day, rig the 3.3 on the spinning rod, find a mid-depth edge, and reel slower than you think is possible. When that 7.6 loads up on the pause, you'll be a small swim convert. Heavy wind can scatter them shallow while stirring up the lake. But wind-protected areas, that's where the bass will bunker down for stability and easy meals. Today, we're talking fishing wind-protected areas in January, why the calm side is gold when it's blowing, the exact spots to target, and the slow baits that make them eat. Why wind-protected areas are January's edge. Wind churns the main lake, staining one side and creating current. Bass hate the chaos in cold water. Protected shores or coves stay clear, stable, and a touch warmer, no wild swings. Bait tucks into the calm. Bass follow for easy foraging without burning energy. One good protected bank can hold a school all day as the wind pushes more food their way. The protected spots I'm crushing right now. 1. Sides of main lake points or bluffs shielded from the blow. 2. Inside small coves or pockets with rock or laydowns in 10 to 30 feet of water. 3. Dam faces or riprap on the calm side of the lake. 4. Areas where wind wraps a point and creates a back eddy. I run straight to the protected side, idle the 20 to 40 foot contour with side imaging on for the structure, then live scope to confirm fish. Money baits for wind protected areas. A 1/2 ounce football jig with a small craw trailer. I love using green pumpkin. On a Shimano X Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Drag the calm rocks. Feel free to use something similar in your own favorite brand. A 3.3-inch Kitech on a 3/8 ounce USA Bass Tackle underspin in Pro Blue on a Mega Bass Destroyer 110 stick, which is a 610 fast rod, paired with a Corrado 150 and 10-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. Slow swim that edge. Drop shot backup if they're picky. You retrieve. Take advantage of the calm. Drag the jig inches at a time along the protected bottom. Pause 20 to 60 seconds if you can stand it. Swim the underspin ultra slow, just off the rocks. Bites will come subtle. Feel for a little bit of weight on the rod. One time out, I had a 30-mile-an-hour northwest wind. Ran to the protected east side of the main lake point with rock in 15 to 28 feet. Football jig on the X Pride Corrado and an underspin on the Destroyer. Worked 200 yards of calm, nailed 15 keepers. The windy side 300 yards away, 2 shorts all day. The protection made it. And bank anglers, wind protected areas are your playground. Find the calm side of public dams, causeways, or points. Use the same 1/2 ounce jig on the X Pride 7'2" medium heavy and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Again, you can use something similar in your favorite brand. Cast parallel along the protected rocks, let it sink to the break, then drag and pause slow. I've seen bank guys on windy dams in January crush limits just by walking the protected side. The calm concentrates the fish within reach. Your January wind protected cheat sheet. Wind direction. Run to the opposite side. Calm water winds. Spots. Protected points, coves, dams in 10 to 30 feet with rocks or laydowns. Baits. A football jig, underspin swim bait, or drop shot. Setup. I like to use a Shimano X Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon for jigs. That's my preference. Use something similar in size and action and line weight in your favorite brand. You retrieve. Inches at a time. Long pauses in the calm. Bonus. Stronger wind equals more bait pushed to the protected pocket. Bigger schools. Hide from the wind, find the fish. And there you have it. Quit fighting the gale and start fishing the calm. Next windy January day, run to the protected side, rig the jig on the medium heavy, and milk those calm rocks below. When that 7/8 loads up, you'll be glad you chased the calm. When the bass are glued to the bottom, refusing everything else, a subtle hopped tube jig is like waving a crawdad that can't run away. Today, we're talking hopping tube jigs in January. Why it's the ultimate finesse bottom bouncer, the exact setups I'm using, and the hop pause cadence that's putting 7 to 8 pounders in the boat when it's frozen. Why hopping tube jigs is January's edge. Cold bass hug bottom. A tube mimics a crawdad or goby rooting around rocks without much movement. The soft plastic collapses on inhale. Easy eats for lethargic fish in clear water. Subtle hops create just enough thump and fall to trigger without spooking in high pressure. One good rock pile or channel edge can give up a limit as they reload on the tube. My tube jig setups right now. A 3/8 to half-ounce tube jig head with a 4 to 5-inch tube, green pumpkin or smoke, stuffed with scent. Rigged on a Shimano X-Pride medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunlight Sniper fluorocarbon. Perfect backbone for feel and hook sets. I have a spinning backup. I use a Mega Bass Destroyer Landsat 611 extra fast with a Shimano Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon for lighter heads. Prime spots for hopping tubes. Chunk rock transitions or gravel flats in 15 to 35 feet. Deep brush edges or standing timber bases. Channel edges with scattered rock. South-facing rocks on sunny afternoons, they'll slide up a bit. The hop technique that's crushing. Cast to the spot, let it sink on slack, count it down to depth. Hop 6 to 12 inches off the bottom, let it fall free, and pause 20 to 60 seconds if you can take it that long. And then repeat. Bites come on the fall or first second of the pause. Reel down and swing easy. In colder snaps, make hops even smaller. Barely lift the tip. One time out on a post-front clear day, I was on a 28-foot gravel to rock transition. Normal jig got 3 shorts. Switched to a 3/8 ounce tube on an X-Pride Corrado combo. Hopped and paused slow. Next hour, 13 keepers. Same spot, same bottom. The tubes collapse and the hump turn nibbles into swallows. Bank anglers. Hopping tube jigs is a powerhouse from shore. On dams or steep riprap with deep access, use the same 3/8 ounce tube on an X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with the Corrado and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon or something very similar in your favorite brand. Cast parallel down the rocks into deeper water. Let it sink to the break. Then hop and pause slow back up. I've seen bank guys on public lakes in January absolutely hammer limits just by working the tube along the rock's edge. The hop mimics craws they can reach easily. Your January tube jig hop, cheat sheet. Size, 3/8 to half-ounce head with a 4 to 5-inch tube, small and soft. Setup, a 7-foot to 7'2" medium heavy with 12-pound fluorocarbon. Hop height, 6 to 12 inches, smaller in colder water. Pause, 20 to 60 seconds. Let it sit like it's dead. Spots, rock transitions, brush edges, channels in 15 to 35 feet. Here's your bonus. Stuff that tube with garlic scent. They'll hold on longer. Hop subtle, catch big. And there you have it. On a tube, find the rocks and hop slower than you think. Next cold January day, rig the tube on the medium heavy, work the brake, and let the long pauses do the talking. When that 7.5 loads up on the fall, you'll be a tube hopper for life. The water's as cold as it's going to get, and some lakes are frozen in spots, and the bass aren't spread thin. They're crammed in the only piece of cover in sight. That one lone brush, stump, or rock in a sea of nothing. Today, we're talking targeting isolated deep cover in January. Why these random outcasts are winter jackpots, exactly how to find them fast, and the vertical baits that milk them for hours. Why isolated deep cover is January's jackpot. In brutal cold, bass want maximum stability with minimal effort. One lone piece in open water becomes a fortress and food magnet. No competition from other cover. Schools by size stack vertically. Big ones, deepest. Isolated spots reload all day as roaming fish find the oasis. One good loner can turn a skunk into a 30-pound bag without moving the boat. The isolated deep cover I'm crushing right now. 1. Lone brush piles, especially ones you may have dropped off in the past. In 30 to 50 feet of flat nothing. 2. Single stumps or trees on old roadbeds or humps. 3. Isolated rock piles or boulders rising 5 to 10 feet off mud bottoms. 4. Random debris like old culverts or signposts in channel basins. I idle big grids with side imaging on, looking for the needle in the haystack. One mark in a blank desert. When your electronics confirms arc on it, park and dissect it. Money baits for isolated deep cover. A 3/4 ounce flutter spoon in chrome for clear days. I throw it on a Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with a Shimano Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Drop it through the cover. A 1/2 ounce football jig plus a small craw trailer. Green pumpkin, I love it. On the same X-Pride Corrado setup for crawling the base. And a drop shot backup if they're suspended. Technique. Hover directly over, Work vertically. Drop the spoon on slack, rip up 2 to 4 feet, and flutter down. Pause 10 to 30 seconds. On the jig, dead drag inches at a time around the base. Bites come on the fall or pause, and set it hard. Last time out on a high-pressure day, I found one lone brush pile on 45 feet of mud flat. Spoon and jig on the X-Pride Dorado. Parked once for 2 hours. 14 keepers. One spot, one school. Didn't move an inch. And bank anglers. Isolated deep cover is tougher without a boat, but if you've got access to deep drops like dams or bluffs with random debris, it's doable. Look for single rocks or old pilings within casting distance. Use the same 3/4 ounce spoon on the X-Pride Sempa 2 medium heavy, Corrado, and 12-pound Sunline Sniper. Use something similar in your favorite brand. Cast as far as you can towards the loner, let it sink fully, then yo-yo or dead drag it back. I've caught solid fish off public dams in January just by targeting one random deep rock I could reach. The isolation concentrates the bass. Your January isolated deep cover cheat sheet. Look for one piece in a sea of nothing. Brush, stumps, rocks, and 30 to 50 feet of water. Your key, isolated in flats or basins near channels. Baits, a flutter spoon, a football jig, a drop shot. Setup, Shimano X-Pride 7'2" medium heavy with Corrado 150 and 12-pound Sunlight Sniper fluorocarbon for vertical control. Technique, hover, drop vertical, flutter or drag with long pauses. Bonus, mark every loner you find. They reload year after year. Hunt the outcast, catch the crowd. And there you have it. Quit the crowds and start hunting loners. Next cold January day, grab for that one stupid brush in nowhere, hover over it with the medium heavy, and drop the spoon. When the rod stays bent on one spot, you'll be in isolated cover at it. Lakes are clear as glass, and the bass are barely nibbling. Heavy tackle masks everything, but light tackle, it's like having an X-ray vision for those soft, mushy takes. Today, we're talking using light tackle for feel in January. While dropping down in rod power, reel size, and line test is the sensitivity boost that turns missed bites into solid hookups. Why light tackle is January's feel factor. Cold, clear water, and negative fish equals bites so soft they feel like nothing on heavy gear. Light rods load on the slightest pressure. Light reels turn smoother. Light line transmits every tick. In high pressure, it lets baits fall natural and detect when they hold without spitting. One light rig can turn a 2-fish day into a limit by feeling what heavy misses. My light tackle setups for insane feel right now. Finesse jig or shaky head. I like to use a Megabass Destroyer Landsat 611 extra fast spinning with a Shimano Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. On a drop shot or Ned, I use the same Landsat Vanford combo with 8 to 10-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon. Light casting for small jigs, Shimano X-Pride 610 medium with a Corrado 150 and 10-pound Sunline Assassin fluorocarbon. And for all those pairings, feel free to use something similar in your favorite brand. These setups let you feel a bass breathe on the bait from 40 feet down. The light tackle technique that's crushing. Cast a deep brush, rock piles, or channels in 20 to 45 feet. Let it sink on slack, tight line, wait for the mush, or tick. Tiny shakes or drags with long pauses, think 20 to 60 seconds. When it feels heavy, reel down slow and swing. Light gear hooks them deep. One time out on a post-front clear day, I was on a 35-foot brush pile. Heavy jig rod got 3 shorts, and I missed 4 of them. Switch to the Destroyer Landsat with the Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin on a shaky head. 12 keepers in the next hour. Same spot, the light field turned misses into a limit. And a 7-3 kicker. Bank anglers, light tackle is your secret for long casts and feeling deep bites. On dams or riprap, use the same Destroyer Landsat 611 spinning with Vanford 3000 and 8-pound Sunline Assassin for shaky head or drop shot. Cast far toward the drop, let it sink, feel every pebble. You'll detect bites, heavy gear misses. I've seen bank guys on public spots in January go from skunked to limits just by going light and waiting. The sensitivity pays off big. Your January light tackle field cheat sheet. When clear water, post front, soft bites, or high pressure. Line, 8 to 10-pound Sunline Assassin or Sniper fluorocarbon. Anything similar in your favorite brand, but don't go any heavier. Rods and reels. Again, I like to use a Mega Bass Destroyer Landsat 611 spinning with a Shimano 3000 for finesse, or an X-Pride 610 medium with a Corrado 150 and 10-pound Sunline Sniper fluorocarbon if you want to go the casting route. Baits, shaky head, drop shot, small jig. You want tiny profiles. Technique, sink slack, tight line, long pauses, and feel the mush. Bonus, retie often. Light line is cheap, lost fish aren't. Go light, feel right. And there you have it. Quit heavy hitting and start light feeling. Next cold January day, rig the Landsat with the Vanford and 8-pound Sunline, let it sink, and feel every whisper. When that 7-pounder loads soft, you'll never go back to numb gear. Water's hovering in the mid to upper 30s, and a half-degree swing can move bass 10 to 20 feet up or down the water column. Today, we're talking monitoring temperature closely in January, why it's your real-time roadmap to the bite, how to track at every step, the adjustments that turn skunks into limits when it's frozen solid, why monitoring temp closely is January's lifeline. Water in the 30s is ultra-sensitive. A cold front drops it 2 degrees overnight, bass go comatose and deep. Sunny afternoons are inflows with warm pockets raising 1 to 3 degrees. They slide up to feed. Track it every 15 to 30 minutes, and you'll predict where they move before they do. Ignore it, and you're fishing yesterday's pattern in today's water. My temperature monitoring routine that's crushing right now. 1. Graph gauge plus remote thermometer dipped every spot change. Log it on your console with a grease pencil or in your note section on your phone. Note the time and the depth too. Number 3, when dropping, cold front. Go deeper, slower, smaller baits. 4, when rising, sun or inflow, slide shallower, speed up air. 5, sweet spot, 37 to 40 degrees is prime feeding. Below 36, go deep and think about dead sticking. Last time out, I fished deep brush for 2 hours and got 2 shorts. By noon, Sunny Bank hit 45 degrees. I moved up to a 15 to 25 foot deep rock with a jig, caught 14 keepers in 3 hours, with my biggest being a 7.4. Same lake, the temp watch flipped the day. And bank anglers, monitoring temperature is even more crucial when you can't run. Carry a cheap digital thermometer in your pocket. Dip it every 30 minutes off the rocks or damp face. If the sunny side climbs 1 or more degrees, the bass will slide up the break to feed. Adjust your cast shallower. I've had days on public dams in January where the cold side stayed at 36 degrees and was dead. But the sunny riprap hit 38 plus by noon and produced over 10 fish. Same rocks, just followed the temperature. Your January temperature monitoring cheat sheet. Tools, graph and remote thermometer. Check it every 15 to 30 minutes. Dropping temperature, deeper, 30 to 50 feet, slower, finesse. Rising temperature, shallow, 10 to 25 feet, slightly faster retrieves. Log it. Grease pencil on a console, on your phone, note the time, the temperature, and your depth. Sweet spot. Think 37 to 40 degrees is active. Below 36, they're in survival mode. And your bonus. Inflows or sunny rocks warm fastest. Chase those first. The temperature doesn't lie, the fish follow it. And there you have it. Quit blind fishing and start temperature tracking. Next cold January day, dip that thermometer every stop, log the numbers, and adjust on the fly. When that 7.4 thumps on the warmer break, you'll be a temperature hawk for life. Water's as cold as it's going to get, and the bass are slower than molasses in a snowstorm. They'll bite if you outweight them. Today, we're talking the ultimate January skill. Practicing patience. Why rushing kills your day, the mindset tricks to stay locked in, and how grinding one spot with long pauses turns skunks into limits when it's frozen. Why patience is January's real superpower. Cold water makes bass lethargic. They take minutes to swim over, inspect, and commit. Post front or high pressure, bites can be hours apart, but when they turn on, it's fast and furious. Rushing spots or retrieves spooks them. Waiting lets the pattern unfold. One good spot can reload all day if you give it time. Patience turns one bite into 10. My patience playbook for staying in the game. Number 1, commit to spots longer. Minimum 30 to 60 minutes per good structure, even if it feels dead. 2, Long pauses on every retrieve, 30 to 90 seconds. Count out loud to force it and keep yourself honest. 3, mental tricks. Bring hot coffee, keep yourself warm, and turn boring into a recharge. Number 4, track small wins. Log temps, mark every follow, build that momentum. Number 5, dress for all day. Layers, hand warmers, heated insoles. Comfort keeps you patient. One January day out, I had water hovering around 39 degrees and a 25-mile-an-hour wind. I hit a deep brush pile at 10 a.m. First hour, nothing. I wanted to run. I stuck it out with some hot coffee in hand. By noon, I caught 12 keepers in 45 minutes. Patience flipped a skunk into a winter bag. And bank anglers, patience is your built-in advantage. You're not burning gas, so grind harder. Pick one deep dam face or riprap stretch, commit to it for 2 to 4 hours, and work it meticulously with long pauses. Use a half-ounce jig on an X-Pride 7.2 medium heavy like I like to use, with a Corrado and 12-pound sunline sniper. Cast far, let it sit 60 to 120 seconds even if you can stand it. I've seen bank guys on public spots in January turn 0 into limits just by outweighting the quitters. The fish are there if you give them time. Your January patience cheat sheet. Spot time, 30 to 60 plus minutes minimum. Don't run too soon. Pause length, 30 to 90 seconds on retrieves, and count to stay honest. Mindset, coffee, music, log your wins, make waiting productive. Gear for grind, layers plus warmers to stay comfortable. When to push, post front or high pressure, bites cluster late. Here's your bonus. 1 anchor spot per trip. Grind it till it pays or proves empty. Patience isn't waiting, it's winning. And there you have it. January rewards the persistent, not the impatient. Next cold day, commit to the grind, hold on to that rod a little longer, and let the fish come to you. When that limit finally fills after the wait, you'll be glad you stuck it out. Drop a like if you're grinding harder this week, comment the longest you've waited on one spot for a bite, and subscribe so we keep these daily motivators coming. I appreciate you. Stay warm, stay patient, tight lines, and I'll catch you on the next one.
And I'm full.